Welcome back to the section of Prince TV. This particular update here is the video which you guys are requesting about the protectionist speciality. Many people want to know the characteristics or the function of this document and then what you can do with it, your rights and the rest. You know, this particular protectionist speciality was replaced with a humanitarian document. You know, the humanitarian document was being kicked out. That was on the 5th of October 2018 when the so-called Savini law came into effect. And then they used quasi speciality to replace that humanitarian protection, which now the Lamojeze, which is the Minister del Interno, have now used the special protection to replace in that particular position of this ex quasi speciality. Now let's see the difference and see updates here based on articles. Without wasting time, let's click in together. Alright, now listening to the article of protectionist speciality, what you guys have to understand. He said, permesso per protectionist speciality, if you do not meet the requirements for a work, study or family permit, the questura with the opinion of a commission may consider you for a permesso per protectionist speciality, which we have been announcing, which happens to be that now with the new law of Lamojeze, which is the Minister del Interno, replaced Savini, we state that protectionist speciality should be granted to immigrants or asylum seekers who did not meet the requirement for political asylum or that of the subsidiary protection. And let's go a little bit forward. He said here, if the commission assesses that you could face potential violation of your basic human rights if you go back to your home country, it can decide to grant you a permesso called protectionist speciality, like I stated already. He said here, recently, the Tribunal of Roma stated that it is not necessary to present your passport to get your case examined by the commission. You know, sometimes there are people who complain that the Equatorial Commission is not seeking for your passport. Have it in mind that as a asylum seeker, someone who is seeking for international protection, you don't have to present your passport. And then this is what the Tribunal of Roma have not stated that any commission which refuse to examine your case because you did not provide your passport, there is a number for you to call and then report this thing. He said, if the commission refuses to examine your case because you don't have a passport, we suggest you to contact ASGI, Anti-Discrimination Service. That is the phone number there, which is +39 35 155 42008. You can see it there on the screen, or there is email under it. You can email them. So any of the territorial commission who refuse to examine your case without presenting your passport, you can call on this particular number which they provide here. To bit forward here, he said, what's the difference between quasi speciality and protectionist speciality? Now let's see the difference between this type of document here. He said, in practical, the quasi speciality permit only concern those who apply for the international protection before the so-called Savini decree came into force on October 5th, 2018, and who are eligible for humanitarian protection. You know, when the so-called decree of Savini came in, he abolished the humanitarian protection and then they tried to replace it with that quasi speciality. Now let's go forward here. We don't want this video to get longer. He said the Savini decree abolished the humanitarian permits and introduced other types of permits of stay. Permesso per protectionist speciality was among those new permits. It is granted for some of the same reason of the quasi speciality permits. He said risk of persecution or torture in their country of origin. Alright, so as well stated and well known to you guys long time ago that, you know, people who will still face risk or torture or inhumane treatment going back to their own country will be granted this protectionist speciality. That is why Lamojeze crafted this document out. Now let's see a little bit article here why we give you the right and then submit or conclude on this particular update. To summarize, the quasi speciality permit can be given only to those that presented their international protection claim before October 5th, 2018, while the protectionist speciality can be granted to those who apply for protection after October 5th, 2018, or after your Kazi Speciale permit expired, indeed, Kazi Speciale cannot be renewed. So now, if you're having Kazi Speciale, if you go to renew, automatically in return, they will give you back Protezione Speciale. And then for those ones who a kind of like seek asylum now, after the law of Salvini, now, if you did not get the international protection of 5 years or that of the subsidiary protection, they will now switch in and give you the Protezione Speciale if you will still meet the criteria. You understand? Now, let's see the rights we have with this kind of permit. We summarize this video. Listen attentively. He said, what rights do I have as a holder of a Kazi Speciale permit? Now, the main use of the Kazi Speciale permit, because now the Kazi Speciale permit, the special protection is taken over from this permit. So the same rights they are having is equivalent for the same right for Protezione Speciale. Now listen the rights you have with it. He said, I may work in Italy but not in any other European countries. You know this already. Another one again, he said, register with the registry office of your local commune, which gives you the right to get a carta di identità. So with this kind of permit, you can get the carta di identità. Another one, he said, access the Italian healthcare system, SSN. With this kind of permit, you can go to hospital and the rest. Then we also have access the Italian public education system. You can study with the document. He said, obtain a travel document. If you have a 2 years Kazi Speciale, you may be entitled to receive a titolo di viaggio if you cannot get a passport from your home country. You understand? He said, we recommend that you check with a lawyer before applying for a titolo di viaggio. You might understand. So that is just it. Now see the rights you don't have with this kind of permit unless you convert it to a motive of work. He said, bring your family to Italy. You can bring your family if you convert your permesso to a permesso per motivo di lavoro. According to the lawyer of CHID, in some specific cases, you may be able to ask for family unification. Talk to your lawyer who is the right person to advise you on this. You understand? So guys, you have to get it in mind that if you have this kind of permit, normally you cannot bring your family here in Italy except you convert it to motive of work, or if you want to use through the family unification, you still have to get a legal advice from a lawyer and know if that is possible. So guys, this is what you have to know about the Protezione Speciale you guys have been asking about. This is what it's all about. Now, what is important here I want people to understand is people will be going to commission. Those of you who are arriving new in Italy, any questura or any territorial commission who ask you to bring your passport before they can examine your commission, you got the number there on the screen which I ask you guys to call, because the Tribunal of Roma have condemned this action that none of the territorial commission should ask for a passport for someone who is a kind of asking for international protection. So that is just it, guys. It's a little bit update for people to still know the reality and how things place. If you have not subscribed to the platform, all you have to do is to subscribe. I keep repeating it. Next time again, we are not going to be saying subscribe. So may you do it now, so may not be like say we're going to repeat them. It's going to still take our time. So that is just it. This is Prince TV. I remain your host. Till next time again, we'll be together. Ciao.